Genealogists. See, don't forget, no matter what, this is the age we live in. Doesn't matter what you do in your lifetime. Now, what matters is what happened with your ancestors. Genealogists will dig through your life, and you will be guilty by association. But we all have a sordid past and a sordid history and a sordid lineage somewhere down right. But genealogists recently conducted a thorough review of President Joe Biden's heritage. Guess what? His ancestors owned slaves. Racist! Which, look, we didn't have to dig too far into history to know that Joe Biden's racist. This is the guy who eulogized Robert Byrd, who was a former Grand Poobah of the KKK, and called him, one of his dearest friends. This is a guy who talked about Barack Obama being smart and clean. This is a guy, who was for segregating the buses, and this is a dude who called the black community super predators. We didn't have to dig too far back to know that some weird racist crap flows through the blood of Joe Biden. All you got to do is listen to the words of Joe Biden himself, but apparently he gets it honest. Alexander Bannerman, who along with presidential lineage expert Gary Boyd Roberts, they told Politico recently that two of Biden's great-great-great-grandfathers were slave owners in Maryland in the 1800s. So there you go. In 1860, census records show that Randall and his family had moved to Baltimore County's 13th district, Bannerman said, and an 1860 slave schedule for the 13th district again shows Randall enslaving a single man. So you make sure to add that Biden's ties to slavery were relatively modest. Not a lot of ancestors and not a lot of slaves. I don't know how many is too many. I don't know how many you got to own to, Chris, this is why I don't dig into people get into this family tree stuff and their lineage stuff. And I've got family members who have done that. And occasionally they'll tell me stuff. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to know. I know how big of a heathen I am. I don't need to dig back into my great-great-great-great-grandfather's sordid past and see what human beings he might have been buying, right? But this is what we do know. And if you understand statistics and you understand history and you understand just the way this thing works, you know statistically that not that many people actually owned slaves in those days. You had to be pretty wealthy, right? You had to be pretty wealthy to own slaves. So we know that Joe Biden gets a lot of things honest. Maybe great-great-grandfather was the big guy back then in the 1800s. Maybe they were given 10% for the big guy back then. And except 10% was human beings. So not a lot of ancestors, not a lot of ties to slavery.
And Chad, last week, we played the Larry Elder. What if Larry Elder was a Democrat, right? And the person. Imagine if this was a lineage of Donald J. Trump, former president. Imagine.
So to your point, remember that one of the big media items to try to crucify Donald Trump. And by the way, I want to talk about this in the next segment. I've come up with a whole new theory that's just going to blow people's minds. But you remember the whole thing that they were trying to blow Trump up about was they said his father was in the Klan. They said that Daddy Trump was in the Klan, all because he was at an event where the Klan was at in New York one time. And so they said, well, he was at a Klan rally. That's like me going to a church somewhere and then somebody says, do you know that Deacon Earl over there is a member of the white nationalists? And I was like, no. Oh, well, you must be a white nationalist because you went to church with Deacon Earl. This was the same kind of thing. So the other crap, this is something that Biden said the other day in campaigning for Gavin Newsom in California, the thing he said against Larry Elder. Biden, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, I ran against the real Donald Trump. And he goes, I know what the real Donald Trump is all about, and I beat the real Donald Trump. And he said, now here in California, Gavin Newsom is fighting against the direct replica of Donald Trump here in California. He called Larry Elder. Now get this. He said he is just another Trump. Now, isn't that funny that they always called Trump a racist, right? He was like the most racist guy in history in terms of how they made him out to be. And then you're going to say that Larry Elder is a direct replica of Trump. But Larry Elder's black, so that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, that logic, Joe, doesn't line up. How can you say that? I mean, that in and of itself, you're saying that a black man is like Trump, and therefore, by association, he must be racist too.